All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Greetings from the Garden State. I'm your host, Mike Ham. We are here in Woodland Park, New Jersey today at Ink Gallery Tattoo Studio with Tiffany Perez. Tiffany,
Yes.
welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Tiffany Tattooz, right? Like that's, should I call you that?
Yeah, Tiff or Tiffany,
Tiff, yeah.
but most people know me as Tiffany Tattooz.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So, first ever tattoo studio that we've done on the show. So no pressure, but
okay.
We need it to go really well.
I feel honored.
Yeah. No, I'm really excited because, like I started looking through, like I said, I have a couple tattoos that I've gotten at different places. I've never been here before, and it's really nice in here, and you got a lot of other cool stuff that we're going to get into as we kind of progress through the episode. But I just started looking through, like, tattoo artists in New Jersey because I just wanted to have somebody on like that on the show. And then I just started seeing, like, your stuff everywhere, and it looks, it looks
Google,
awesome.
that's good.
Yeah, that is good. So you are findable.
Yeah.
So that's a plus. So born and raised in Jersey?
Yes, born and raised, yep.
Where?
In Patterson, actually, right down the street. Yeah.
Nice, yeah. And then, so then growing up, art must have been something that you were into, is that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I've been drawing since I was 2 years old. That's what my parents told me. And my father, he's actually an artist. Like, he used to do a lot of, like, airbrushing, graffiti, and I remember being young, and we would just be together, like coloring in coloring books, and he would show me, like, at a really young age how to use different shades of green and reds, and you know, use two different colors to color in the lines. So, like, at a young age, he kind of started teaching me the technicalities of drawing, and then ever since then, I mean, everything was all about art.
And that was just like, you loved it, is that?
It really was just like just
part
my
of your
thing.
life and you didn't even realize
to
it?
me it was like a hobby. And then when I got into high school, that's when I felt like people really started to notice that I had a talent and would point it out to me. And I guess I just never realized, like, how artistic I was until then.
Right. So I think that's interesting because it's like now that's your life basically is like an art in an art field because this is art. You obviously have to draw the stuff and then draw on somebody's skin. But like what else? I mean, like when you were going through high school, in college, like what did you think you wanted to do?
So when I was in high school, I wasn't really sure. I was like trying to figure out what do I.
I'm not even sure yet. Like I'm 32 almost. And I still don't
honestly,
even know.
it's hard. So in high school, I was like trying to figure out what do I go to college for. I didn't even know. So I went to college like undeclared because I kept saying like art is just like Montclair State University.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So because I just felt like art was just a hobby for me. So I didn't know if that was a direction I wanted to go in. But then I ended up declaring my major as like art education with a concentration in drawing. And I figured like, let me just do it and see where it takes me. So I was trying to be an art teacher, but I actually really hated it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't like going to school for that. And in my junior year, my father bought me a tattoo machine for my birthday. And that was like how the tattooing got introduced.
Yeah.
And I absolutely fell in love with it. And I said, like, I don't even want to finish school. I want to get out of here. I know what I want. This is my career. Like, to wake up in the morning and feel excited to go to work or to learn something, like, that's when you know, like, okay, you feel passionate about something. So, but I ended up graduating. I finished it. But after that, I just made tattooing full time.
Yeah. So I feel like, does that happen? I mean, I don't think that would happen often, like a dad getting his daughter a tattoo
no, not
machine.
At all.
That's like the opposite of what you would normally hear, you know?
Yeah, it's
like,
very rare. But my father, you know, he's into the art, so he always told me, like, even when I was younger, like, if you're going to get into art, do a little bit of everything. Like, just learn everything. Be versatile.
Yeah.
So then he was just, like, brought up the idea of, like, tattooing being, like, money-making career, and you know, it's fun and all of that good stuff. So
it's badass.
It really is. It really is.
It's much different. No disrespect to art teachers, but it's a lot different than being an art teacher.
For sure. For sure.
Okay, so you finish college, and then I guess you have to go through like an apprenticeship, right? Is that kind of how that process works?
Yeah, that's what I did. So I was in an apprenticeship while I was in college.
While you were in college.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, what's that like? Are you just kind of just learning how to do it?
Kind of. I mean,
do you just, like, put tattoos, like, on people just to try it? Or how does that...
The way they had me practicing on grapefruits for a while.
Oh, okay.
So, I had to do, like, hundreds of them. And then you, like, have to clean the shop.
Is it grapefruit skin like a human skin? Is it, like, similar?
No. Not necessarily. No, there's really nothing that's that close. I mean, sometimes we would use like pig skin and stuff, but grapefruit I like the best because if you go too deep with the needle, the smell of the grapefruit like comes out.
That's nice. Yeah.
But nowadays, they have like actual like fake skin. It's called a pound of flesh, where they have like actual hands, like molds of hands and arms and legs that you could practice on. So that's pretty cool. But I still like the traditional like grapefruit.
Yeah.
But that's what they would have me do, practice that, and then pick up the phone, deal with clients, clean, do everything that they want you to do for the most part.
Right. So then, how long does something like that last?
What?
The apprenticeship.
It could last between 6 months to 3 years, depending on the tattoo studio.
Okay. So how long did yours last?
It was about a year, I think. Yeah.
And is it kind of? I guess it would also kind of depend on how. Like, if you suck at it, you might take like a little bit longer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you're really good.
That's why it's good to get into these things like be an artist already, because if you have that skill, it'll help you throughout the tattoo process.
Right. So then, kind of like progressing through your career. So you finish the apprenticeship. You're doing your thing. I guess you get a job as a tattoo artist at a studio.
Yeah, there at the place that
and which place was that?
It was called, it's not there no more, but it was called Writers Inc. in Newark, New Jersey.
Okay.
And so after I was done with that, then I was just tattooing full time.
Gotcha. And then so I love talking to business owners and stuff like that because, everyone that I've had on that owns a business took that jump at some point from working for somebody to actually opening up their own place. So was that something that you always wanted to do?
No, I didn't. I did not. I was like, I do not want to be a businesswoman. I just want to tattoo and go home. But it just got to a point where I felt like, I'm sorry, this incense is going out of control. Is that messing up the camera?
No, it's fine.
No,
you probably can't even see.
Oh, okay. So what was the question? I'm sorry, I got distracted.
Starting your own business. It wasn't something that you wanted to do.
Yeah, so
you just wanted to be
but so I was working so much and clients would notice that I was like the only one tattooing the most. I was booked out, and it was my clients that actually gave me the push, you need to open up your own thing, and I'm just like, I don't know. I was very, very shy at the time too, so I didn't see myself socializing in that way with having a business and dealing with employees and stuff. But then it did get to a point where I'm like, you know what, maybe my clients are right. Maybe I should just do my own thing. So then I just started just keeping my eye out at different spaces.
Yeah.
And for a good year, this space that I'm at now was for rent for a while. And I was like, you know what, let me just go take a look. And then I did. I'm like, I think it's time to open up now. Yeah. And it felt good, and I lived right up the street at the time, so it just seemed like everything was aligned perfectly.
Yeah.
So I ended up just taking that chance and opening up my own.
And then what was that like? Take it you take the leap of faith. I guess you can't do all the tattoos yourself here, so you have to start hiring people and know people and get clients in the door and all that kind of stuff.
It was very, very stressful. This was all new to me, but I tried to remember what I learned from the shops that I was in and just take it into this. But it's all a learning experience. And then it turns into a lifestyle. So this stress and chaos and all this learning thing that becomes life now. Yeah. So it was definitely a learning experience, but I enjoyed the process.
Yeah,
so.
No, it's cool. And you said, I think before, 9 years here in this
9
location?
years, yep. Yeah. In June, we made 9 years.
Yeah, and then you have another place opening up in Fairfield.
In Fairfield, yeah. That's coming soon in September.
Oh, this is most likely going to drop in September.
Yeah.
So, time up, maybe even perfect.
Yeah.
This episode and you opening in Fairfield, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
So maybe take you through, so if you're never been to Ink Gallery Tattoo Studio before, what types of stuff do you guys do here? I mean, obviously you have a bunch of different artists. You obviously do tattoos, but kind of what should people come to expect here that they would maybe not get at another tattoo studio?
Yeah, so I feel like the first thing when you come into my shop, it doesn't feel like a tattoo studio. It's very different, a different vibe. I mean, as you can see, this annoying incense that got in the way. I light up incense. There's crystals everywhere. I'm trying to make people feel relaxed, comfortable, and feel the energy, the good energy of the shop. So that's the vibe vibe here.
Right.
As far as like services, I mean, we do tattoos. We do this new thing called teeth gems. I don't know if you saw those where they're like gems in the teeth.
I have seen that.
Yeah. We have microblading, the permanent makeup. So we do a little bit of everything. Piercing we don't have just yet, but that will be in the new shop.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like a good system and a good vibe here. And every artist has like a different style. So we have like the traditional style, black and gray realism, color.
And that's kind of like your style, right?
Black and gray realism is my style for sure, yeah.
And what made you gravitate, sorry, I'm all over the place, but this is just how we go. What made you gravitate towards that, like as opposed to maybe something else?
Yeah, it's just my style as an artist in general. So before I became a tattoo artist, when I would draw, I would always draw like faces, anything realistic, always using a pencil. So when you kind of like bring that over into the tattoo world, it's kind of like, it's what I'm comfortable with. So I just, stuck with that style.
Gotcha.
I do a little bit of everything, but I do like the black and gray realism.
That's like your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Like you'll crush that if you're doing a tattoo like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. No, I think that's really cool. So going kind of like progressing even further. So I had jokingly said before that on the way here, I was listening to like you on different YouTube videos because you're not just here, like you've been on TV shows also.
Yeah.
So what have some of them been and what are those experiences like?
Okay. So
we've had people on, Top Chef, we've had people on Titan Games, The Voice.
Oh yeah.
We've had an Olympian on. We've like had people that are on TV, but this is, a lot different, obviously, than maybe some of those.
Yeah, so my very first TV show was on the Oxygen channel. It was called Best Ink.
Okay.
And I was only 2 years into tattooing, so I was like a baby on that show. I ended up getting cut off like the first episode, but it was like the start of the TV world. And then after that, I got into this other show called Black Ink on VH1. That was a wild, crazy reality TV show, and I just could not handle that, so I ended up leaving a little bit, like, midway. That show alone allows you to see how reality TV is. It's nuts.
It seemed nuts.
Yeah.
I just had like the YouTube just playing in like this car speakers.
Yeah.
So I wasn't watching because that's unsafe.
It's drama filled. Yeah, you don't want to watch that while driving. You might
be locked in.
You don't want to see that.
Yeah.
And then the last TV show I did was How Far Is Tattoo Far on MTV.
Okay.
So that's a show where like two people go on there. Like let's say you and your best friend go on the show. You pick a tattoo for him and vice versa, but you guys don't know what it is, so you're like blindfolded.
Now is that like, now I've watched that show before.
Okay.
Is that like legit? Like,
it's real, yeah. A lot of people were like, I would read like comments like, this is not real, that doesn't even look like a real tattoo. But I'm like, yeah, it is real. I tattooed it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just crazy stuff that I had to do on people.
Yeah.
That was fun though.
Yeah. Are you just like doing it just like, oh my God? Like how difficult, because I remember seeing like on that show, like they can't see it. Like they're blocked out the whole time.
Yeah.
But is it sometimes hard to like control your reaction to like what you're actually putting on them in some cases?
Well, we would see the design prior to.
So you kind of had a chance to like sit with it for a second.
Yeah. And every time I would see these designs, I would just like shake my head. Like, this is nuts. Like, why did these people sign up for the show? And sometimes I'll actually feel a little bad. Like, ooh, that poor girl or that poor guy is getting this on them, but
forever.
They signed up for it, so you have to like disconnect in that way. But sometimes like they'll be blindfolded and like the host will come in and make these comments and you just start like cracking up, like just bawling because it's just hilarious. You can't even keep it inside sometimes. And then the client's like, what's going on? Or they'll try to figure out what I'm tattooing by the motion of like the needle. And then just like, you're not going to figure it out.
No, you can't figure it out.
Gotta wait
like I knew the ones that I was getting and I would just try to see like, okay, like the one New Jersey one that I had, like where are they in
you
the
try
state?
to feel
like,
it out.
Cape May yet? And like you have no idea.
Exactly.
No idea. So like what was kind of like the push that got you into doing those two TV shows? Did you just like want to do it or did someone ask you to do it?
I think the first show, someone asked, they told me, they said, hey, there's this new show coming out, here's the application, you should give it a try. And then once I got my foot in the TV door, I kind of like became a little obsessed with it, like I want to do TV again.
Yeah. And
I don't know, things just kind of like fell in my lap. All the times that I've been on TV, someone reached out to me.
Yeah.
So just worked like that.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And I would imagine too, like I definitely would help kind of growing your personal brand, like getting out there and getting more people seeing what you're doing,
and that's how
then by extension the shop and what you guys are doing here for sure.
And that's how I've always been since the beginning, like just trying to push myself as a brand, and it ended up paying off.
Nah, it's so cool. And then also, like, I was going through your Instagram recently doing my ample research that I normally do for every episode that I do, of course. Like tattooing celebrities and doing different things like that. So like obviously that must make you feel pretty good.
Yeah,
right?
I love that feeling. I love when a celebrity recognizes me and comes by. It makes me feel like all that hard work is paying off.
Right, yeah.
Because they, it's like they're picking, because, you know, celebs have so many connects and know so many people. So when they pick you out of the bunch, it does make you feel like...
Right, they could pick just about anybody, almost, I would imagine.
Yeah. So I enjoy it. Some celebrities are a little... high, I don't know if it's high maintenance or something, but they feel like they could just, you know, come at whatever time they want. So that's like the only complication with them, but it's fun. I get to talk to them. It's like having like I don't know. It's like you just get to sit for hours and just talk to these people who are in this type of world, and you kind of hear different aspects of their life.
Because that's got to be interesting too, because, you know, like I do this, so I talk to people all day. But then you, as a tattoo artist, they're sitting there for, like you said, hours at a time sometimes. So you get to just kind of either you're going to sit there in silence for an hour, or hours, which is weird. Or you get to like learn people's stories. So I would imagine that's got to be something that's kind of cool. Like you learn like what things mean to people and like why they're getting certain tattoos and all that kind of stuff. That's got to be a lot of fun.
It is. It's different.
So then I also want to kind of go through like it's like personal stuff that you've kind of gone through in your life, because I think that that's also super inspiring as well. So kind of just like take me through, like I know you had a stroke how long?
Last year.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even realize it was that recent. I thought it was like a while ago.
No, last year wow, that was nuts, because I didn't even expect that. I just remember it was a Sunday. I was trying to figure out whether I wanted to go to my mother's house or stay home because I was a little tired for some reason. But I was like, you know what? Let me go visit my mother. So I go drive all the way up there, and we were just like having dinner, and we were talking and laughing, and then just something like came over me where I just, it was like someone just flipped a switch, and my whole head just like was spinning. Like I almost felt like I was gonna faint. And I was like looking around, like, is it gonna happen? You know, like, and my mother's like, "You okay?" And looking at me, and I'm like, "No, something's wrong." She's like, "Are you gonna faint?" And I said, "I think so." So as soon as I get up from the chair, I just like collapsed. Like my whole left side gave out. My whole left side became paralyzed, and I started like hyperventilating or something because my heart was racing. I couldn't breathe. I kept saying, "I can't breathe." And I thought I was having a heart attack. So I was freaking out. I was like, I'm having a heart attack. And everyone was like, no, you're not. So they call, like, the ambulance. And then when everything was, like, going numb and you just feel like things, it almost feels like electricity going through your body. It's a really crazy, like, sensation where it just comes from your head and just shoots through your, like, nerves.
Yeah, it's wild.
So I knew something was going on with my brain. And then I started slurring my words. I couldn't get the words out. I was just, like, out of it. But then they brought me to the hospital and gave me, like, a blood thinner. And within a few minutes, it started to kick in where I was able to, like, move my finger a little bit. But the process for that was hard, you know, like, doing the physical therapy and the emotional, like you go through depression, anxiety, your heart rate. It's traumatic. So like every day I'm thinking like it's gonna happen again. My heart was just like out of control. But that was a really difficult journey. But I was so determined to like get to work. I said to myself, there's no way I'm not gonna be able to walk again and not be able to work after all this hard work I put in.
Right.
So I was determined. I changed my mindset and I was like, I'm getting through this and I'm gonna get to work. So the doctor told me that I couldn't work for 6 months, and within a month and a half I was back.
Yeah.
So it was hard. Wild. I was like limping at work, getting to my station, and had to take like multiple breaks because it was hard mentally to do.
Yeah, to like focus, I would imagine.
Yeah. So I finally get better. Then I ended up catching COVID, and I was out of work for 2 weeks. But as soon as I came back, the next day, I woke up with Bell's palsy, so the right side of my face was completely paralyzed. And at first, I thought it was a stroke again, so I went to the hospital, and they were like, no, it's Bell's palsy. I'm like, but how? Like, COVID just called. Did you catch COVID?
In November, I did.
Okay.
I didn't get it too bad. I didn't even know that I had it.
Oh, okay, so you're the lucky ones, but sometimes it causes a lot of, like, issues, after effects of it.
Well, we had Priscilla, with my friend, the Olympian, competed in the Olympics. Like she's
Okay.
like high performing athlete,
yeah.
high jumper, and she got it during 2020, and then developed like heart inflammation, like all that kind of stuff, and like it delayed her training to compete for the 2021 games because they got delayed, and then she like missed making the cut.
See, that's
Yeah.
horrible. But that
yeah, it's still like crazy stuff that happens.
Yeah. And another thing that the COVID caused was Lyme disease, which I never knew I had, but it like flared it up. I guess it was like dormant in my body, and the virus just kind of like flared it up. So the Lyme disease is scary because it kind of messes with your brain as well. And sometimes I'll like even now, like, what was I just saying? You know, because sometimes my brain gets a little like clouded from like the Lyme disease. So those are the issues I'm dealing with. But I'm like taking action. I just did a 3-month detox, and I'm just trying to work on myself because I don't want to ever go back to that place. It was a rough year.
Yeah, no, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy too? Like I just realized that this is the second episode in a row that we've recorded where my guest has had a stroke. So like
really?
we had
Someone else? Okay.
Ghost Hawk, Steve Bauer. He owns Ghost Hawk Brewing in Clifton, and he had one 2 years ago. And he's not much older than you, but it's like just dawned on me that that's like crazy.
Yeah, that
like,
is
the
crazy.
coincidence
I feel
of
like
that.
more and more people are actually having that, and a lot of people are getting it from COVID too.
Right.
That was like one of the first questions they asked me. Did you have COVID? Because it causes blood clots.
Yeah.
So.
But like you know, it's crazy because it's not even something that people around our age, like you don't even really think that that's ever going to happen to you.
Yeah, I would never. I didn't even know what a stroke really was. Like I was trying to figure out what's the difference between a stroke and a heart attack. But then it was all like figured out for me afterwards.
Right. Okay, so we're going to take our break of this episode so that I can reset the camera. But then we're going to come right back and keep going with this story because I'm locked in right now.
Okay. All right.
So this is the Greetings from the Garden State podcast. I'm Mike Cam. We're here at Ink Gallery Tattoo Studio in Woodland Park, New Jersey with Tiffany Perez. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, Mike Cam here. I hope you're enjoying this episode with Tiffany Tattooz of Ink Gallery Studio in Woodland Park, New Jersey. To learn more about the show, myself, or to listen to all of our other great episodes, make sure to head to greetingsfromthegardenstate.com. And if you like what you hear, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a review on your favorite listening platform. Also, if you want to support the show further, head to buymeacoffee.com/gardenstate. A $5 donation to the show goes a long way helping us travel around the Garden State, bringing you the best of what New Jersey has to offer. Again, that's buymeacoffee.com/gardenstate. Now back to the show. All right, welcome back for our next segment of this episode of Greetings from the Garden State. I'm Mike Cam. We're here at Ink Gallery Tattoo Studio in Woodland Park, New Jersey. That's hard to say real fast, with Tiffany Perez. So in the first segment, we learned kind of your background. We took the listeners through opening Ink Gallery, being on TV, kind of like some things that you've been battling over the last year, which I still am blown away that that's a year because you wouldn't even know. You had no idea. But take me through kind of like, so going through something like that and all the other things that you've kind of gone through. So the stroke, the Bell's palsy, all of those things, and kind of also having to run a business and then opening up a new shop and actually like do tattoos, because it's not like you're just sitting at the front checking people in, like you're doing it.
Yeah.
So like, was there like a holy shit moment? Like this could be kind of like it for like the career almost?
Yeah. So I feel like the depression came on because I thought to myself, I'll never be able to work again.
Yeah.
Like, although I was able to move my hands, which is great, it was more of like a mental thing. I couldn't think straight. I couldn't comprehend. And I couldn't walk. So I thought, like, this is it. Like, what do I do now? And that's when I had to switch my mindset and like talk myself through it and just really like go ahead on. Like, I'm going to get better. Like, I'm not going to deal with this. So every day now since that moment, I feel like you just never know when it's your time to go. So what are you doing today to make a difference in your life? What are you going to do that's productive? So every day I treat like my life like if it's my last day in a sense.
Sure. Yeah.
Because you just don't know.
Yeah.
So that's just how I am now. Like I will do whatever I can to keep growing and keep being a better person and growing my business because, you know, hopefully that never happens again, you know, and then I have my foundation already. So ever since then, I just feel like I've been doing so much. Like now I'm opening up a new shop, which is actually the largest tattoo shop in New Jersey.
Really?
Yeah. So it's very different because it's a larger scale.
I think you said double the size of this place.
Yes. Yeah. So right now I have, I think, 5 artists, and over there I'll be having 13.
Wow.
So everything's just like
like
double,
right when you guys
triple,
open up, you're gonna have 13 artists there.
Yeah.
And like taking people from here or no?
Yeah, I am. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do because everybody wants to go to the new shop, which is super cool. So it's like trying to manage 2 shops is a lot. But this is all new to me. But I'm just like, you know what? Let's just go for it. Take the risk. Like, what do you have to lose? You know,
right.
Just go for it.
Yeah.
So that's basically my mindset. Just like taking risks, taking a chance, and just pushing hard every day.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, like those are huge undertakings, obviously, like opening up a new shop and even just running a business that you already have, especially coming off of stuff like that. But early on and like in that process, when you started trying to like shift the mindset a little bit, were there like things you were doing that like small baby step things that kind of got you going on the right track?
Yeah, I would I started to like get into meditation a little bit more. I would do things like I would read a lot. I would even like try to draw, but draw with my left hand instead of my right, just to kind of like train the brain a little bit, like to rewire
How
itself.
How did that go? Because I can't do anything with my left hand. It's like
it wasn't as bad as I thought, but it does take very long trying to draw like that.
Yeah.
And then just go really slowly with everything. Like if I were to come, like if in the beginning when I would I do a lot of big pieces, but I switched my schedule to do the smaller ones first, and I'll take one client a day, see how I feel, or
like
if I'm
work
like
back into it almost.
Yeah, and I would have to take actually multiple. Like I would do a little tattoo and have to take like 5 breaks because like my brain would feel funny and I thought I would pass out. But I would just have to take baby steps basically, and then at just one point, things just started to like improve really, really quick. So,
That's great.
I just had to take it slow and then just be gentle with myself and have a more balanced life because being a business owner is like nuts. It's stress filled.
Right.
So I just really had to take it easy and just like be in the present moment for everything.
Yeah. So take me through like, because obviously you have the new shop opening, and I'm sure that that's taking up a lot of your time and your energy and your focus. But even looking like beyond that, are there things, because you seem very ambitious, are there things that you're hoping to accomplish even beyond that? Like goals that you're setting for yourself to try to like,
Well, after the shop, I mean, I would actually like to get into the whole Airbnb world.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
so I think I would.
So just add more business stuff onto your plate. Yeah.
Yeah. And I always wanted like a commercial space with like multiple tenants.
Yeah.
So I started last year. I got a small property, like a multi-family. I started with that just to get my feet. And now I think I want to go a little bit bigger after the shop. So do the Airbnb and then eventually get like a commercial space.
Very cool.
Because I want to just get to the point where I don't have to work anymore. I work so hard, so I just want to get more passive income, and those are things that I'm kind of interested in.
Right. No, that's awesome. And if you need to know anybody, I know people in that world in my real life. But very cool. So when I want to go back, I don't know why this just popped back into my head, but going back to somebody that would come in here getting a tattoo, like the process of working with a client on what it is that they're gonna get. Is it something that they kind of like bring it to you and they're just like, this is what I want? Or is it kind of just like, hey, I'm thinking this, can you draw something? Or is it kind of a combination of both?
It's mostly creating their design. So the way we do it here is that they fill out this form. This form asks every question that I would ask you if you were here in person.
Yeah.
And so I get an idea of like what they like. They could attach references, but I just need to know. For me, I need to know like the main idea, the concept, and then I could just take it and run with it.
Yeah.
So I normally just like we use like Procreate on our iPad. I don't know if you ever tried that app, but it's like just drawing on there. It's so easy to use, and I'll just like put things together. We could attach like fake arms on there so the client could visually see how it's going to be on the arm. So everything's like so advanced now. But that's all I need. I mean, I've been doing it for like 14 years now, so it's like really quick for me. Just tell me what you want. I'll just come up with something, show you, and like 90% of the time the client is just completely happy with what I draw.
That's good.
So it's pretty easy to put together.
Are there things that you just like you will just not do?
I won't really do anything like demonic, like if somebody wants like a 666.
Oh yeah. Well, I just mean like if somebody's just like, hey, I want this, like a picture of this, like this exact thing, or like I saw this tattoo on Google Images and I want this exact one? Is it something like sometimes?
I usually like to change it, especially if it's someone else's tattoo design. So I'll let them know, I'll tweak something.
Yeah.
But sometimes people, like, we do a lot of like lions, right?
Okay.
And they'll show me someone else's tattoo of a lion, but I'm like,
Yeah.
how much can you really tweak with a realistic image, you know?
I've always
But
wanted to
if
get a bear.
A bear?
Yeah. That's
Oh, yeah?
like my
That's cool.
goal one. Because my favorite quote ever is, if you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly. So, like, if you're going to do anything, like, why wouldn't you want to be the biggest, most badass version of that thing?
Yeah.
So I've always wanted, like, bear is my favorite animal, grizzly bear. So I've always wanted to, like, that's, I don't know why.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We should talk
I
about
just
that.
I just did a bear, like a I think it was a grizzly bear and the teeth were showing and it looked so aggressive. It was pretty cool. But yeah, you could just like, you know, just tweak it a little bit, add your own little artistic touch. Some people just don't know. They're like, I don't know, you're the artist, do whatever you want, and then I'll just do my thing.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, so going back to the new studio and kind of like we were talking a little bit off mic before we started, that towards the end of every episode we like to talk about the community-driven stuff.
Right.
And you had mentioned that there's some stuff going on when you're trying to engage with the community in Fairfield when you open up the new shop or kind of leading up to that. So can you take us through some of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I feel like Jersey needs more stuff, you know, like we always go to New York or maybe Hoboken because there's more restaurants and bars, but like I want Jersey to be, or at least what I'm opening up to be like more for the arts. So I was thinking
I definitely agree that Jersey does need more arts stuff.
100%. So my plan is like every month possibly to do an event relating to the arts. So like I already thought that one night we would do like a painting night, another night maybe poetry, another night maybe live music, anything that has to do with the arts is what I have planned. And I think it would be cool because it could bring the community together because we don't really have that out here.
Right.
So I'm so excited. And then I finally get to take like, for instance, like, you know, I went to school to be an art teacher, but now I can like do these events where I could teach people how to paint or to draw or, you know, so I'm so excited to work on that for the new shop.
And then I would imagine you're kind of like engaging with other artistic communities too.
Oh, yeah,
to get them involved and doing different things.
Of course,
Sure.
I have to get a marketing thing going on, but the goal is to connect with artists and just other people who are just interested in it. And just bring us all together.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you ever need any help with that, let me know because I'm all in.
Oh, yes. You represent for Jersey.
Yeah, of course. It's the best state ever. It's national. We're recording on National New Jersey Day, which is a whole big thing.
Yeah. See, that's so exciting.
I know.
Do you have that app that tells you what each day is?
No, someone actually,
told you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's bad for my brand if I say that I didn't know when National New Jersey was. But yeah, somebody told me about it, and then I was like, oh, we got to do stuff for it, you know? And then
do they have a National Podcast Day?
I'm sure they do.
Yeah. They have everything now.
Yeah, they got a national day for, like, I don't know, anything.
Yeah, donuts and crazy stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so if people want to learn more about you, learn more about the shop, like what are some places that they can go to do that?
Okay, my website is #1, Tiffany Tattooz, but I spell it with a Z at the end.
Okay.
Because someone took the S. So Tiffany Tattooz. TiffanyTattooz.com, and my Instagram is Tiffany Tattooz as well. My shop is Ink Gallery, so on Instagram it's Ink Gallery NJ, and you'll be able to see all the updates and everything that's going on.
Is the new shop also going to be Ink Gallery?
Yes, it is. Yep.
All right.
Yep,
So that's going to be a one-stop shop for everything happening.
Yes,
and
exactly.
then if someone is interested in booking you or one of the other artists that you have, like what's that process like?
Yeah, you just go on the website, my website, Tiffany Tattooz, or even Ink Gallery. We have the form on there. They fill out this form, and it gets sent to us via email. And
the question thing that you were telling me about, with the different questions, like how to get the design done?
Yeah. Because that asks, like what's your availability?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your availability? What are you looking to get? Where at? How big? If there's reference photos, they could attach that. So it's pretty cool. And then we get that through email, and then the receptionist would call them and book them right away.
Cool.
Yep.
And then, that's awesome. So this has been great. I really appreciate you jumping on with us today.
Thank you.
Doing this, and our first tattoo studio ever.
Yes.
Episode 50 also. So this is like a milestone episode for me.
Congrats.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So,
that's great.
But very cool. Really glad that you were able to jump on with us. So I'll make sure that I put the website, the Instagram handles, all that stuff in the show notes. So if people do want to check out Tiffany and In Gallery Tattoo Studio, make sure you do that. We'll also put greetingsfromtheGardenState.com in the show notes as well, which is the website for the show. I'll put my email address in there too if you want to reach out. So this has been the Greetings from the Garden State podcast. Tiffany, thank you so much for doing this with us today.
Thank you for having me again.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were here at Ink Gallery Tattoo Studio in Woodland Park, New Jersey with Tiffany Perez. I'm Mike Ham. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you next time.